Hello, we are from Hungarian Airlines.
Here we will tell you some of our best advice to go to Hungary and have the best experience ever.
We will talk about the cuisine, the climate, and everything you need to have a great experience.
Let's get started.
Hi, Hungary is a place or country located in Central Europe. It collides with Slovenia, Ukraine, Austria, Romania, Croatia, and Slovakia. Main of all, to get here you can go to the webpage despegar.com, and mainly the trip that we are going to organize to you is from the 30th of April, from tomorrow, and with a duration of 13 hours, and then the return will be on the 30th of August with a duration of 44 hours. Main of all here, if you want to travel to Hungary, you need to know everything about the health. Based on the page sre.gov of Mexico and the traveling guide, it is said that you don't need any vaccine to go to Hungary. There is anything specific that you need to be healthy there. But mainly, if you want to stay on a camp while you travel to Hungary, it is recommended that you start having the vaccine of encephalitis. This is a vaccine that mainly it needs to be done 2 times, mainly 4 weeks before you go to the trip. But this is only if you want to camp in the forest in Hungary. But if you only want to stay in the city, you don't need any type of vaccine.
The climate in Hungary is very extremist. What happens is that when it's summer, it can get to temperatures very high and very warm and very dry also. It can reach temperatures from 20 degrees Celsius to all the way to 30. But when it turns to winter, it can go to 0 degrees or even lower in some regions. And it can fall snow for around 40 days, although some regions can get snow for around 120 days.
Well, about cuisine in Hungary, it is very tasty, but nevertheless you have to take care in what you eat and more than nothing, the quantities that you eat. Because, for example, the main continents of the dishes have pork or beef, but prepared with a lot of grease or fat. Also, there is also a big presence of bread and as well as many desserts. So you can taste the food because it's very tasty. You can enjoy the flavor, but be careful because you can harm your organism if you consume it in excess.
In Hungary, some of the traditional dishes you can find there are mainly the foszolek. That is a type of soup that is created with a lot of vegetables, such as green pea, red pea, spinach, mushrooms, tomato, potato, and carrot. And mainly these vegetables are not destroyed and they are all put together. Here you can also include other ingredients such as egg or any other type of meat like the pork meat.
Well, another traditional dish is in this case a dessert that is called the Sachertorte. Its historical origins are in the Austro-Hungarian Empire and it was a dish for the royalty. And the Austro-Hungarian royals enjoyed a lot of this kind of dessert. It is mainly a chocolate cake, but it's special because it has thick cakes of chocolate in the outside.
And the last dish that we're gonna show you is the langos. This is also a very famous dessert that they have in Hungary. This dessert consists of a fried layer of bread, and then above it there's a whole thick layer of sugar, milk, eggs, and this is a very delicious traditional dish. But the bad thing is that it has a lot of carbohydrates and lipids.
Well, about the weather, in the case of Hungary, we could say that the weather is very extreme in seasons such as winter because the temperature lowers a lot. Thing that in Mexico doesn't happen. In summer, the weather is very comfortable, like 20 degrees Celsius. You can be very good and rest, not like Mexico, that in summer in some places it gets very hot. About the cuisine, well, as it's typical between foods of different cultures, the dishes are different and the style different. For example, in Hungary, a little bit more of fat, of grease, and in Mexico is kind of more varied, but surprisingly, the the both cuisines have a different style, but also some coincidences like the use of spicy.
Well, we're gonna talk now about the most famous and most common diseases in Hungary. First, we have the gastritis, which is the inflammation of the internal mucus of the stomach. It is caused by bad habits with a lot of spicy things and also fatty food. We also have the symptoms, which is a lot of pain in the upper part of the abdomen, and it can be treated with the change of lifestyle, and it can also be prevented by that, which is stop eating fatty foods and spicy things.
Of course, we also have the common cold, which is very well known that it can be caused by the weather, especially in winter when the weather falls very cold. It is very usual that people catch this illness. It can be prevented, for example, by the use of winter clothing or something that keeps your body temperature in its normal status, because by this way the body won't suffer harm. About the treatment, this is use very common to find the medicaments in every drugstore in the city. There are many substances that can be used for this purpose, and it is better if you ask a doctor to prescribe one for you.
Yes, then we have, and the third most common are cardiovascular diseases. And one of the most common are arteriosclerosis, which is the when the cholesterol attaches to the internal barrier of the artery. This is caused by excessive cholesterol and also fatty foods, the same as gastritis. And the symptoms are thorax pain and also sometimes heart burning. We have the treatment, which is medication, like anti-cholesterol medication and also anti-platelet medications. And the prevention, which is change of lifestyle. You have to stop eating fatty food and rich in cholesterol. Also, some of the actions that you should do when you are in the plane all the way to Hungary from Mexico are that first you have to be sure that you empty your whole urinary bladder, and because this is to take care of your urinary system.
It is also very important to check if there are sick people in your airplane, because normally the airlines make sure that sick people don't get in the airplane, but nevertheless it's good to be aware and be prepared for this. For example, carrying mouth masks if you have them, if there are sick persons.
Another thing you can do in the plane is that you should always drink water while you are traveling. Mainly, this will help you to stay hydrated all the time and never lose a lot of health because of the dehydration you can have.
Also, as you can see when you fly, there is air conditioning, so you should take a light coat or even a winter coat to make sure that your pharynx doesn't get swollen.
Also, if you have an internal car or bus trip in your stands in Hungary, it is very important to check the conditions of the truck or the car. The persons from the agencies are normally careful in this aspect, but nevertheless, I would suggest you not to make your necessities in the bus, because normally it is not the best place to do so. To avoid having this necessity, you could simply go to the bathroom before the road trip.
Also, while you are in the plane, you can eat a lot of fozolek if you have something strange.
To your travel health kit, you should include a winter coat because it can get very cold if you go in winter to Hungary.
Also, use sunblock, because this is important in every city, because if you will walk around the city, you will expose to the sun and you can get your skin harmed if you don't use sunblock.
Another thing you can do is to take lightweight clothes and also clothes with colors that are really light, like the white, because mainly this will promote your health as the sun rays will not affect you in a great way.
Also, you should include for the fatty food that you can find there, magnesium milk for gastritis in case you get it, because it can become very expensive to buy it there.
Also, it is very important to carry a light backpack to carry everything you need there, because if you don't, you will make a mess carrying all you have, your camera, your sunblock, all the stuff of the kit, as well as if you buy some things, you you need to put them in your backpack, so it's very necessary.
Finally, you need to carry always a bottle of water that you can put in your backpack while you are traveling in the city, because this will help you to always be hydrated, so you don't suffer from other harmful situations by dehydration.
And goodbye. I hope you can get there to Hungary safely, and see you in the next video.
Good luck in Hungary, and goodbye.
See you soon.